Rob Gronkowski, who makes this as one of the greatest tight ends of all time, quite simply.
Play clock at 1. On the run, touchdown, Rob Gronkowski.
This huge target with this gigantic catch radius.
Fake to Great Ellis. Caught by Gronkowski for his second touchdown.
Truly one of the best specimens we've ever seen in football, let alone the best tight end we've ever seen.
Brady going deep, and it's Gronkowski for the hat trick. Gronkowski, who had a game to forget last week, has a game to remember for the rest of his life.
He had a great catch radius for kind of as stiff as he is. He could get balls on his shoelaces.
Nice diving catch made at midfield.
His biggest year ever. He had 90 receptions, 1,300 yards.
And moves still forward, still going down the sideline, and finally tripped up inside the 15. He gets up untouched and then refuses to go down.
He led the league in just about every category from a tight end perspective.
He dominated the tight end position. I don't think there was anybody who could argue was even close.
Touchdown, Gronkowski. And there's the record. That's his 14th receiving touchdown. And I'm telling you, you wonder why New England, and I mean all of New England, not just the Patriots, has fallen in love with the Gronk.
The bottom line is this: when Gronk plays, there's no doubt who the best tight end in football is. He may be the most talented tight end we've ever seen in the history of the NFL.
12, play clock down to 3. Let's see what Hazlitt dials up.
But when Gronk is healthy, it's like, oh, they're the odds-on favorite. I mean, he has an enormous impact. Then you look at the numbers.
Little pass over the middle, and it's caught by Gronkowski. Still on his feet. 10-5, touchdown. The Gronk.
One of the greatest tight ends to ever lace them up. We haven't seen anybody like him. The most dynamic, the best offensive player Tom Brady's played with.
Gronkowski says yes, and the official agrees. Touchdown, New England. Wondering how did he catch that?
What Gronk has done, he is just an absolute positive animal that we just have not seen at the position. The moves that he could make at that size, the sheer force.
The first time we talked to Brady about Gronkowski, he said you would not believe this guy's mitts. His hands are huge.
He's also a dynamic red zone receiver. He's their best receiver in the red zone because he's the only one that has a mismatch and can play outside or play inside.
Brady's got it. Touchdown. Gronkowski for the third time tonight.
Holy Toledo, was he having a game.
That's how good he was, and that's how dominant he was. When you are forcing the defense to focus that intently on what we're going to do with this one guy, you are a special player, and you are one of the best ever at your position.
The catch made, touchdown. Gronkowski with a great catch.
Rob Gronkowski continues to wreak havoc on this league. A huge man.
I'm not sure there's ever been a single more dominant tight end than what we saw.
Pass to Gronkowski. He's got it. Touchdown.
Gronk is a nightmare. He's way too big for a corner or a safety. He's way too nimble for most linebackers.
He gets time. Completes it to Gronkowski.
When Gronk got the ball, he is running through you. He's running over you.
Fights off Monday. Heads for the goal line.
He was going for it, no matter what.
Touchdown! The beast is loose.
Tom Brady says, I don't care who you throw at me. With Rob Gronkowski, I like my chances.
Big boy. My gosh.
I don't think there is any argument that Gronk is a more complete tight end maybe than anybody else that's ever played.
He's one of the best run blocking tight ends in the history of football. There's just not too many guys that have played the position who could say, I'm one of the best pass catching and one of the best run blocking, and that's where he differentiates himself.
You see Gronkowski at the far left side of your screen, and he just finishes this block well after the touchdown signal was called. Drives him right off the field and into the television truck. And I think Gronk, you see him flapping his fingers saying, that guy's been talking all game.
That's why I took him and threw him out of the club.
Works hard, prepares hard, wants to do it the way you want it done. He absolutely is a coach's dream.
Gronk was on a whole nother level. Since 2010, he led all receivers in touchdowns.
I think everybody thought once he had those injuries he's had, he would slow down. But man, that guy, he was built to play football.
Look at that. Here's the exclamation point. Gronkowski. 26 yards. Like a runaway truck.
Oh, man.
How did I do that? I don't even know how I did that.
Gronkowski refused to be tackled. How do you tackle that guy?
And the resurgence of the Patriots very much coinciding with Gronkowski getting healthy.
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and welcome to Super Bowl 49.
He's the one guy that you really have no answer to.
One of the all-time greats. I don't think there's an argument that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think the argument is Rob Gronkowski the best tight end of all time?
He's arguably the best tight end who's ever played.
No argument. And there's no receiver or tight end that has a bigger catch radius than Gronk does.
Deep to the right side for Gronkowski and a touchdown. It's back in the lead.
What are you kidding me, Pete Carroll? A linebacker, bump and run on a 6'6" tight end. All day long, baby. We'll take it.
Tom Brady and the Patriots looking for a fourth quarter drive to take the lead here at Super Bowl 49.
This guy is the greatest tight end of all time. I'm sorry.
And he's shouldered down at the 32.
He has size, hands, heart, toughness, technique.
Caught, first down, and again, they go to Gronkowski.
His legacy is cemented. Gronk is going to be in the Hall of Fame as one of the best tight ends that we've ever seen play the game of football.
The New England Patriots are the NFL champions.
This is the best tight end in the game. This is the best receiver on this team.
If I had to pick a tight end that I've seen with my own eyes to be on my all-time team, I want Gronkowski.
No one has done what Rob Gronkowski does at tight end.
Gets it away and he hits Rob Gronkowski. Sooner or later, Gronkowski.
Very difficult to cover the seams against Gronkowski.
There's a very good argument to be made that he's the best tight end of all time.
And there's Gronkowski again. Touchdown.
Gronkowski, I just think the impact he had on football, the impact he had on the greatest team we've seen in the history of the NFL.
Brady back in the end zone. Touchdown. Gronkowski, his second.
He's a 100-plus catch tight end, and how they use this guy and what he's able to do.
Watch him physically maul linebackers all the time.
Touchdown.
But I will tell you where I do think they need him, and where they will need him a couple times a season, is the biggest games against the best opponents. And I will key on a moment that is, to me, forgotten to NFL history because the Pats lost the game. It's one of the greatest plays, highest leverage plays I've ever seen live. 4th and 10 AFC Championship game.
It comes down to this. 4th and 10, 1:34 to go.
This one could close it out. Brady, though, goes down the field to Gronkowski.
The game's over if they don't convert that. Brady has the confidence on a 4th and 10. I'm going to throw it 40 yards in the air in double coverage to Gronk.
And he has the football at the 10-yard line. He was double covered.
In the building, there's no better teammate. He works extremely hard.
And now the AFC Championship's going to come down to this very next snap.
He's like a Shaquille O'Neal, big, enormous guy that is unstoppable.
With the game on the line. And it is caught by Gronkowski to make it 20-18. He got away from the Denver defender.
In those spots, you need the elite players to make a couple elite plays.
First, a little high drama from Heinz Field with 2:06 to play.
This is it here.
Gronk, to me, revolutionized that position. I've never seen a guy play the position the way Gronk did.
Pressure, unloads, got Gronkowski at the 50.
And he was able to make plays down the stretch. If you watch that last drive, it was the Gronkowski show.
1st and 10, Patriots from their 49.
I mean, has there ever been a bigger physical mismatch on the field than this guy?
He's getting separation now.
Linebackers could not run with him. Safeties could not tackle him.
It doesn't matter who you try to put on him. He's such a huge human being.
Gronkowski, it is a catch. What an amazing catch.
For a guy that size, come on. People don't realize how hard it is.
He does a very good job of separating, whether it's with a hand, an elbow, he'll body in and lean and get himself open. He does a fantastic job. All Brady's got to do is basically play pitch and catch.
Pulls
Drills it down for the 2. He's killed him, Davis. In the second half, he's just mauled this defense.
Even though Gronk wasn't what he once was, he still caused you to stay up at night figuring out ways to try and stop him.
For a half, the Tom Brady-Rob Gronkowski duet was off-key.
Gronkowski tonight, 1 catch for 9 yards, period.
Tom Brady has a recognition of defenses and understanding of where to go with the ball, and then Gronkowski is a matchup nightmare.
I think points are pertinent here to make them think, uh-oh, here they come.
This time it is caught by Gronkowski.
You can tell, coming out of the gate, they want to get the ball to 87.
Of all the non-quarterbacks in the sport, Gronk might be the single most impactful.
That's Gronkowski, so back to him.
He provides matchup problems because he's so big and he also has some speed to him.
They've got Gronkowski split wide to the left on 3rd and 6. Brady firing in that direction, hits him, and Gronk gets it inside the 10, sets up a first down and goal.
You know, his ability to run routes, his ability to create space, he's the ultimate matchup.
2nd and goal to go, ball across the 6 to the 5.
He made some plays, you know, found some spots in the defense that he could get the ball, and he really got his rhythm there in the second half.
Touchdown Gronkowski! The Patriots strike first in the second half.
Gronkowski made all the catches. He could have said to the Eagles, I'm going to Gronk. Try to stop him.
That type of guy is irreplaceable. The guy that does it all, that blocks, that lines up in the slot, that lines up outside.
You always have to be concerned about the big tight end, Gronkowski, in this situation, all 6'6" of him.
He's the greatest of all time for me. In a 9-year span, the things he did, the dominance that he displayed.
Reaches out, extends, makes the grab as he dives to the pylon. Touchdown, Patriots! And the Patriots have gone in front for the first time here in Super Bowl 52.
They look unstoppable right now.
And I think that peak was above anyone else's as an all-around player. That's the guy you want on your team.
There is nobody anywhere close to as tall as Rob Gronkowski. I would jam him at the line of scrimmage. I would not let him run freely off this ball.
I'm taking Gronk. It's a clear-cut call for me. Best ever.
Gronkowski, could this be possibly his last game as the New England Patriot?
For nearly 3.5 quarters, the Rams had smothered one of the game's most explosive offensive attacks.
Everyone talked about the year of the offense, right?
Rob Gronkowski is the greatest tight end to ever play the game, and it was a pleasure watching him.
I think in this 9 years, the destruction and the dominance I've never seen from him.
Gronkowski has it.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. Yeah, I do believe Gronk is the greatest tight end of all time.
They're spreading him out. He's taking what the defense is giving him. I'm telling you, he's going to cut one loose right down the seam here.
He was able to catch like the best of them. He was able to run after the catch. He was a dominant blocker.
Makes the catch over 2 defenders. Tumbling to the 2. First and goal to go. Brady sees it, and it's a 29-yard strike to the big boy, the all-world tight end. What a catch. Running it for the touchdown. You're getting a physical football game and one big play by Gronk.
I am honored to say for the 6th time, we are all Patriots. And once again, the Patriots are world champions.
Gronk has 3 rings, and I think that matters. His biggest moments always came in the big game. He was at his best when the game mattered most.
This is the greatest moment of my life, man. This is unbelievable. Congratulations.
Thank you.